It's always a good time to get started. On this Segway GT2. Let's just check. As we go down the road, let's refamiliarize ourselves with the usual Philly potholes. I believe the last time we did this, we were on a Voro Motors cruiser scooter, and we did more troubleshooting than we did cruising because of its reputation for Voro Motors' reputation for shoddy work. This time we are using a Segway GT2, the Megatron edition. And if you wanted to know, I am using a helmet to keep our head in place in case of an unseemly accident, which we hope won't happen today on this trip or any trip hereafter. Right now we're going uphill. It's an overcast day here in Philadelphia. It's spring. It's April. But the sun has not yet committed to full-time presence in the Philadelphia area. And if you're coming from a larger city like New York, you might wonder where all the people are. Well, they're still sleeping. That's where they are. It's a place that tends to get up rather late, but as we drive through University City, you also notice that a lot of it is because a lot of the property that the area has bought up is occupied by college students, and a lot of them will go away for the weekend and leave their rooms vacant. As we go around this manhole to this bumpy street, already you see a much smoother ride than what we're used to, which is definitely welcome. Let's see what trouble we can get into today, if possible. And hopefully you can enjoy some of the sights and sounds of the city of brotherly love without much interruption. Hope the video quality is okay. The suspension on this is great already, I can tell. That's something we look forward to when riding something for pleasure. This is what you would call the bike lane on Chestnut Street. We just finished passing Walnut. We're on Chestnut Street. And this bike lane just a few years ago was not here. So that's one of the added commodities of a city that has a growing urban population. And the people over at City Planning that make this possible. So far, no incidents. In this bike lane so far, sometimes you see a lot of potholes, uneven pavement. You see a gentleman almost just walk into the way of the Segway wheels. You see a low-hanging branch, which is customary. Here you see somebody just standing in the middle of traffic there, having a conversation. And even though we have horns, sometimes they just do as they wish. This is Philly, by the way. So let this car go. Just hit up in front of us. You don't have to use your middle finger for everything. Just save it for those opportune occasions when you may need to use it. If somebody runs over a dog or a child, or an adult male doing his job, fixing the streets for us. So here we work our way into the narrow bike lane because they're doing construction of another residence that will bring in a lot more money for developers there. So sometimes you have to wake people up because they're in their slumber. And there's nothing wrong with being patient. I could have easily just rushed by her, beat it to where I was going, but what's a few more seconds, right? If you're in that much of a rush, you can always leave earlier. And if you're that much in a rush, then you probably are not going to do any good for anyone around you. So, here we go. Light change. You see a lot of foreign exchange students. You also see a lot, and I mean a lot, of visiting students from other schools because they compete. And this area also employs a lot, by this area I mean University City, employs a lot of people regularly from the universities, a few universities in the area, hence the name University City, as well as a hospital, UPenn, which is very famous, which is also in the area. And sometimes when the road is being worked on like this, you get pedestrians where a bike lane is designated, which is also fine as long as you coordinate visually or audibly. But what happens many times, yes, thank you, sir. You see how he signaled? Thank you. Always welcome good action with more good action. Manners are always important. No matter where you go in life, take your manners with you. It'll get you more open doors and into more places than your passport ever can. Just being mindful. This is going towards Market Street. We're passing Drexel University. We're about to make a right here. Let's get out of the way. See a student, some Muslim students giving out some literature as we find our way to the bike lane. And there you see some of the buildings that have become synonymous with Philadelphia, from movies to just historical places to visit. And a lot of these buildings weren't here just a few years ago. So Philadelphia is growing as prices rise. Neighboring cities like New York City, like northern New York, like northern New Jersey, you will find yourself, Philadelphia is a place where a lot of people will go to visit, go to move to try to find a better life and more affordability. As the smell of marijuana goes into my nostrils, which is pretty much customary for most places you will visit in the city nowadays. You could be driving and there's people smoking while they're driving. Depending on how you feel about that, like this car right here, just going in front without signaling. Or people walking without knowing where they're going. But what can you do? You can always go around. That's 30th Street Station. And there's always construction happening, especially as of late. Of course, because of the close downs a few years ago because of medical reasons or political reasons. A lot of construction stopped. Well, now they appear to have resumed, and they have begun in a strong way. As we try to, at least this car signaled. A lot of delivery drivers also use electronic vehicles while on the road, just to make their deliveries more efficient. So a lot of Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, you'll see them around the city using electric vehicles like this one, or like others, just to make their deliveries go by smoother. This is the ramp going to the Schuylkill Riverway, and this was closed for a very long time while they repaired the Chestnut Street Bridge. See if we can go around. There's low headroom here. Try to go around as much as possible. We see a train. A lot of these trains carry petroleum and oil. Philadelphia is very famous for that. Come on, some traffic here. Excuse me. Beep, beep. Thank you. Thank you, I appreciate you. It's always good to use your manners. Just a note for if you're coming and visiting with tourists, walk to the right and stay one behind the other if possible, not horizontally across, because it blocks everyone from getting to where they need to get to. A lot of people don't know it, even if you're not a tourist. Just rules of the road. I guess you pick them up as you go along, but you've never had a chance to or a need to go through it, then you don't really need it. You see the low headroom with a lot of the branches, leaves in the area. A lot of people use the Schuylkill River Trailway to get their exercise in. A lot of schools use it for sports, for running, jogging, or just for taking long walks. See if we can get past these guys. Yeah, I wonder how you feel about the wireless headphones. A lot of people are using Bluetooth as their preferred method of technology nowadays, as you saw in those headphones. Inline skates, haven't seen those in a while. Just a nice day to be out. It's not too cold, it's not too hot. Ever since I've seen a lot of more scooters on the road, I see less and less actual bikes where you have to, the regular bikes where you have to use your own power to get around. When I first came to Philadelphia, which was in 2013, I was the only one that I would see with an electric vehicle for years, until about 2000, I would say mostly 2016, 2017. And that changed about 2021. I think everybody started not 2021, about 2020. Before the election, everybody was using electric vehicles then. And you notice it's almost like whatever New York implements first, it'll eventually get to Philadelphia anywhere from 5 to 10 years. That's what I've noticed. Even if it comes to buying Metro cards in the subway station. When I first came here, they were not being sold at the stations. You needed exact change because the stations didn't keep exact change, and there were no machines except for the major stations where you can buy Metro passes. That's one of the many skate parks, a few skate parks we have within the Philadelphia area. This one's distinct because it's covered in graffiti all around. Some people just call it art. A lot of couples walking. There you have Martin Luther King Drive right ahead of us. You see all those storage trucks. That's been in construction for almost 3 years now, I would say, give or take a year. A little headroom, let's get low. I like to see people out doing exercise, walking, interacting with the world around them. And we're about to enter an area that is going to be full of people, I suspect, from the student activities that usually go on during the year around this area. And by this area I mean Boathouse Row. And this is a luxury, of course. The richest kings were not able to experience as much as we were able to, or been able to. That's what I mean. You're walking horizontally. You have to be aware of the people around you. It's almost like if you're driving in a vehicle, you need to be aware of everyone that's around you, not just your couple of friends that are here with you. It says a lot about society, I think, when you just don't notice anyone around you because you just don't have to. Let's see. You should always be on alert. Some people instinctively know to look around, but those people are becoming less and less the norm. Let's walk, make our way around these. Beautiful day again here in the area. At first they said it was going to go up to 65. Now it's down to 58. Windy conditions. Let's see how much traffic is up ahead. This is usually where it gets congested. I also like to see people sitting alone. It usually means that they're thinking. I like to see people thinking. See how we'll maneuver our way around everyone. And so far it's been a pretty comfortable ride. The amount of people with dogs has also gone up. Also, it's a lot of lonely people. Thank God for this horn that I just got invested in. The other one that I have would just leave you without knowing what to do in case of emergency if somebody got in your way.
And it's like,
Look at the little man on his scooter. Good. Using his legs. Beautiful to see, especially fathers with their sons. I love to see it. And this helmet, believe it or not, it keeps me warm. So in case you're worried about allergies, there's no air hitting my face at the moment. There's a crystal clear visor. This could be a little clearer. I might have to wipe it down. It's visible. It's just not as clear as you need it to be, from using your cell phone, just from maybe touching it with wet hands. It's just not as clear as it could be, but it's keeping the wind off my face and the pollen, the ragweed, and whatever else is out there. I like that aspect. Truly. Inline skaters. We'll go around them. Here's a Mr. Softy truck. You grew up in New York, you know exactly what that is. Here in Philadelphia, it's popular as a lot of water ice. It's famous, like the Italian ices were in New York City a long time ago. You say Italian ices in many places, they have no idea what you're talking about. You say Mr. Softy in many places, they also have no idea what you're talking about. Go back to the scooters for a second. Just want to let you know, on a full charge, the scooter had about 60 miles to go. And even when you see clear roads like the ones that you see right here ahead of you, you always want to make sure of the people around you. That's the best way to save accidents. To avoid distractions, leave your phone alone. If you drop something, wait till you stop at the light. And the light, by all means, for goodness sakes, it's not a place to start texting. It's not a place to start surfing the internet. Be vigilant. It's a very high risk thing that you're doing. Why not realize that and save yourself perhaps unwanted hospital bills, if not your life. And spring came to Philadelphia early. By the time spring got here, there were a lot of flowers blooming. A lot of them, especially the colorful ones, are already off the trees. A lot of the look that I'm getting is not just because I'm so handsome. It's because there's a camera strapped to a harness on my chest. And anytime something appears different, people are going to notice right away. And people are curious. And then even if you change your hair for 10 minutes, I'm just kidding. Change your day, change your hair, you change the way you walk, you change your perfume, someone's going to notice something. Yes, people do notice. And that's nothing wrong with that. Observant people are in demand. You have to be present to be observant. Observant many times is not just what a person is saying, is watching their actions, and by that you can tell what motivates them. But if you're too locked in, sometimes you will miss the best parts of something. A lot of times the best parts of something is what's not being said, but what you can pick up by observing. Okay? Take a moment to admire these trees, the rowing team, the Schuylkill River. And what a pleasant break from the news. Just being out here in nature, in the presence of other humans, but people who are also engaged in activity. Like-minded people usually go to places where you find activity. Like-minded people usually go to places that lead you away from the television. Before you go to any doctor, and if you want to deal with any kind of stress that you have, try stepping away from the news for a few. Sometimes that's all you need to feel better. The news will have you believing that everyone is against everything and that everyone is against one another. That boys and girls are not supposed to get along with one another, that they're supposed to be at war with one another, that they're supposed to look at the other one with a side eye without knowing that when we really work together, it's an unstoppable force. When we work against each other, it becomes insufferable. If you ever see someone that is not in the best shape working out, don't discourage them. Don't talk to them about, don't give them dirty looks or anything like that. They're doing everything within their power to stay with it. Just as people who perhaps are in good shape, right? We can't ignore people who are in shape and thinking they don't have any kind of concerns. Even if they are in shape, they have their own set of concerns that can be something that is troubling to them. Just be mindful of those things. As we go through the corner here, heading out of Boathouse Road, heading towards East Falls. A lot of these bikes that you see, they might look unassuming to you, but believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, some can go as expensive as $10,000. Parked the car. Trust. As long as he wasn't rude about it, I don't mind. Some of the more beautiful bridges in the Philadelphia area, at least. Steel bridges. A lot of these steel bridges have been here for years and are still as strong as can be. They're inspected regularly so that even if they're struck by large ships, they will still keep their integrity. Now it looks like we have clear path from here on out. This is what is known as Kelly Drive. It runs parallel on one side to Martin Luther King Drive on the other side. To my right, we have west. We have Laurel Hill Cemetery. serves as a burial ground for legendary R&B singer Teddy Pendergrass. Laurel Hill Cemetery. Right there on Hunting Park Avenue. Keep heading down Kelly Drive. I noticed, especially now away from the buildings, the temperature has dropped at least 3 degrees from what it was. Also, the sun is not visible. It's covered by overcast sky. The sun wasn't visible when we came out, but it was noticeably warmer. So again, as I stated, we've been riding now for what, about 20-25 minutes. When I started, it was at 56 miles. Left to go, we're about 50. So it's been a smooth ride. This road here gets a little narrow, but there are signs indicating you to that, letting you know, notifying you that's getting a little narrow. Couple holding hands. Get back to the right. On the speed, we've been going at an average speed of about 20 miles per hour, which is safest, pretty safe around people. With the braking power that this has and the size of it, I wouldn't want to test the limitations of the braking system around children, pets, just people in general. I've seen a lot of those bikes with the extra large tires. How do you feel about it? I don't know. It looks almost like one of those beach bikes. Just try to get around these people. Keep making our way up here. Are you getting hungry? I'm getting a little hungry. See, another steel bridge, looks rusted. I don't know if that one was gonna survive any kind of crash. Just by the looks of it, I don't know, it could be stronger than it looks. Just like most of us. Let's keep going. So as you see, we're on economy mode. And you can set how fast you want to go on the different modes with the app, the Segway app on your cell phone. So let's say by default, if it was 15 miles per hour, you can raise it on your app. You definitely can. See if we continue straight here. And we have light, which means we can go straight. A lot of marathon runners use this to train because of the different terrain levels and elevations, inclines, declines, but also because during the full Philadelphia Marathon, which I myself completed, it's part of the course, it's part of the route. You go deep into East Falls, Manayunk, and then you turn around. Continue going straight. See a lady sitting there by the water, looking out. Everybody that is alone is not lonely. Sometimes they just want to appreciate their surroundings on their own. Sometimes they're figuring things out. Sometimes they just need no distraction besides the everlasting realm, which is nature. So see, the path has narrowed. Sometimes it's beneficial to go faster, sometimes beneficial to go slower. Especially on a narrow path like this, I like to go a little faster until I get to someone, then I decelerate or just not apply any more acceleration as to not cause an accident. Okay, so I'm still going about 19 miles per hour, 19, 20 miles per hour. I see a bike coming. He has his flickering light on it, so we can see him, which is smart because he's riding with a baby in front. Everybody has their different opinion as to how they feel about that. What a smooth ride. If we were riding the Voro Motors scooter, which they keep sending me flyers for, to an announcement for it, just to buy a new one, it's not going to happen. If we were using the Voro Motor scooters, by now we would have already have stopped a whole bunch of times, like we saw on that video. We're stopped about 20 times. Yes, I guess it's part of their standard operating procedures. Let's see if we can make this light over here, get into the park. See this beautiful waterfall as much as you can. We're at about 48 miles. We're approaching an incline. See much more of the park. This is a Wissahickon park. It has a lot of trails and rocks. Good place for families, good place to go out on a date, to see how high or low maintenance the person you're going out with is. Make our way towards the curves. A lot of people use this rock formation right here in front of us to practice rock climbing. They're just not here today. And the scooter, you see the Mockingbird right there in front of us, has braking, it has safety precautions built in, safety mechanism built into the scooter. I think that's my phone ringing. Sorry for that. See how far we can go. Just enjoy the sights for now. I'm not sure if the audio is coming out. And we have a big incline over here. Okay. So for mobility, yes, it's one of the pros of getting a scooter. Like I said, you can do deliveries, you can get to work, you can use it as a commuter vehicle. Do you get any exercise on your legs? No. You might get a tingling, a pinch from standing up too long, but not exactly what you would consider exercise. So that's one of the cons. But if you just want to be out, or you just don't want a motorcycle, you don't want to have something that you can register, still go fast, you approach another incline, a scooter is fun. You can get to a lot more places that you can't on your car, and fast. If you're a photographer, you might just get on your scooter and just go to a certain location and Just shoot wherever you're going to shoot. And then go to the next location quickly. And you save on gas. Do you have to take a long time charging it? Yes. So if it's, you know, if you're worried about charging it, well, this one in general comes with, it has 2 separate chargers, and you can charge the battery twice as fast as you can with 1 charger. It's still going to be a long time if it's completely empty, but it's going to be a long time in general. But at the end, you're going to get a lot for your charge. And there's no wood to knock on, so I hope that lasts. That holds true for the entirety of this ride. Why go to a park? Because you know it's going to be reasonably safer place to go to. But don't get me wrong, people still usually come here accompanied with someone. But a lot of people also come by themselves. But just keep in mind that wherever you go, it's going to attract company. So if you go to a park, you usually attract people who like to come to parks. You can also always run into some kind of adverse condition that you didn't plan for, but the chances are going to be lower for the most part. But always watch your surroundings. See what's happening. We're going to cross another bridge. Get ready to cover your ears. The sound of metal. No, I'm not talking about Metallica. I'm talking about this plane right here. Wissahickon Park. And believe it or not, when the weather's like this, it keeps certain people away, but you can still do what you came to do. If you let little things like weather stop you from enjoying a beautiful waterfall or just a regular walk, then you might be missing a lot of the things that you would otherwise have seen if you would have listened to your second voice, not the first one that said you shouldn't do it, but the second one that said you can always push a little further than you thought you could or would, if you commit your mind to it. But you have to train it. It's not going to happen automatically. You see a lot of the beautiful old houses, historic houses left in the area. We're going to decrease our speed to about 5 miles per hour. And you see the rocks on the road, some gravel. See if we can park right across that bridge over there on the other side of the creek. Just to see what's on the other side. Look at this. There's a lot of beauty here. A lot of history here. Let's see what we find. Curiosity can be a good thing. Take a look. Take a look. Take a look. Hope you can see. Isn't that a beautiful picture?